Yay Media Group.
Hey,
Hi.
welcome to a brand new episode of the Fitish podcast on location from our backyard. It was so nice out today. Brian's gonna in 30 seconds start complaining about how hot he is, but it is really nice. It's beautiful.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Sunny.
Hey, a lot of our friends in Texas have been dealing with like torrential downpours every day.
Yeah, that's cool.
We haven't caught up with you in just a minute. We've been kind of going in and out with the show, just living life and trying to create more content, living life, and then seeing what kind of content we got. But we went on our first couples trip without Remy, and it took us. Someone left me like the shittiest comment the other day and was like, "Well, I didn't do it for 18 years," and I'm like, "No one's giving cookies, okay? No one's giving medals and prizes for like." How we deliver our children, cesarean or vaginal, if you breastfeed or not, how good or not good of a mom you are based on time. I don't
No,
know. It's like,
I didn't take it as a cheaty comment. I take it like an endurance race, you know? They endure 18 years without doing it, you know?
no, I'm a mom. I know where that was coming from. But it's funny, isn't it, when you become a parent because you'll often have friends. We had some friends recently, good friends of ours that we adore. They asked us to go on a trip that would require us being away from Remy for like 13 days. Friends like, absolutely not. So we had a couple of other friends they rented a house for their anniversary in Cabo and they wanted us to come for some reason. Like,
Yeah, and
I think they
it was
learned.
3 days
Yeah.
versus 13 days, and it was in Cabo versus Croatia.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so closer. So we thought, it's a short flight from us here in Mexico City. So we said, we're going to do this. We're going to leave Remy. We told him, hey, you're going to stay with your grandma. I don't want to stay with grandma. Of course, Remy ended up being fine for the most part. The biggest mistake I made on this trip was FaceTiming him because then it made him a bit emotional and then it kind of dampened my mood for half an hour.
yeah.
But we had such a nice time. But I think Brandon and I realized, at least I did. I don't know what your takeaway is on a trip, but I I think you and I are at an age in our life and with ourselves, like we know ourselves pretty well, like what we like, what we don't like. And we realize like if we're gonna go out of town without Remy, we should probably do it alone so we actually have time to connect because there were two other couples on the trip and one couple we were just meeting for the first time. The other couple are friends that we've had for a while. So everyone was lovely. It was great. But when you go on a trip with a bunch of people, there's always different moving parts. Some people want to do this, some people want to party more.
I think the lesson is yes. Probably the trip should have been only us, but it was a lot of fun and it was great. Like there was, as you said, many moving parts. But I think we're the most easygoing out of the bunch and we just go with the flow. But it was a beautiful house.
Yeah, friends. I just think though that I didn't have really any time to kind of connect one-on-one with you. The room that we got, which was fine. I mean, the house was great, but it had two separate beds. And so we were sleeping in separate beds at night. We were kind of laughing. I was like, well, we only need one shared bed for like 5 minutes anyway, And
Yeah,
then
we're like 30 seconds with it.
So we had separate beds, but I think I'm just so chill. And a lot of people don't believe it. I mean, I can get worked up, I can get mad, I can do stuff. But in general, I tell people don't invite me on a group trip where you want to party because I truly want to go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. Like, I love to sleep. I like to hang out during the day. I like to be adventurous during the day. I like to, maybe go on a boat. I would have gone surfing and that was on the agenda and we never got around to it. I like to do activities like that during the day. But come 4 p.m., give me some food, give me like some chill, some couch, some lateral positioning, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I don't, there was an earthquake when we were there. That woke me up at 1, probably because I had already been
Two
sleeping for
earthquakes.
like 8 hours. Yeah, there were some earthquakes in Cabo. I didn't realize that happened a lot. But in general, I think that I did not miss Remy as much as I thought I would. So I was okay. I mean, I missed him, but I think knowing he was well taken care of at his grandma's, I wasn't like yearning for him to be by my side every step of the way. I think I really enjoy the downtime of
You were
just
already
chilling.
tired of him. Like it's like, let's do it. We needed a break.
Yeah, I think we all needed a break from each other. Do you know the miracle that was created though? I don't know if you've noticed this. He's been like obsessed with me since we've been back. He's been like, "Mama, Mama." I mean, he still has his moments, but like much more than before. It was like, "I want Mama. Where's Mama?" And then I had to go out of town for work for a quick night, and I think he was missing me a lot. So, it is true what they say, absence makes the heart grow fonder. What?
Good job, you know?
Just leave him and then he misses me. Yeah, because before we went on that trip, he was just like, "Go away, mama." And I was like, I am going to go away. I'm about to go away. I'm going away. And then I went away. What? We have different
Like
parents.
2, 3 year old.
We have, oh, please. You were yelling at him last night. Oh, you're 2, 3 year olds. We have different parenting techniques. That's right. You're the all mature one.
All grown up.
So it was great. I think 3 days, it was the perfect amount of time. So do I recommend a trip without the children? Yes, but maybe for your first one, really think about what you want to get out of that trip. You know, if you want lounge, you and I, if we had gone out of town together alone, like we would have just like never left that house probably. You know, we would have maybe to go to dinner or to go to the beach, whatever, right? To work out. But like we
would have never rented a house. We would have stayed in a hotel where we can have
like I'd be like a gremlin. I would like open the door, take the food, shut the door. We would have watched movies. We would have read books. We would have just laid. Yeah, that's what you and I. But now we know. Like now we know if we get a chance or we want to, then that's what we do.
But I think that so we're pretty different when it comes to social settings. I think that kind of filled my social
cup,
which I love. Like I love that, and I love like wheels off, you know. If all of a sudden you see like a lizard or
it's like a giant animal climbing through the bushes.
So, and we also did a lot of chilling. Like it could have gone a lot worse. Like there's some parties in that trip that wanted to go balls to the walls.
Yeah, yeah. You have a social cup. My social cup is non-existent. Less than. My social cup is a shot glass. That's the amount of social interaction.
Mine is like a Stanley tumbler.
No, yours is like what are the Hefeweizen, like German beer glasses?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and mine's just a small syringe, and I'm like, I'm good. Yeah. No, I love the people that we were with, but yeah, I don't require a lot of social. I don't know, something about me, Francisco, like I crave one-on-one girl time here and there, but I don't crave big group activations, you know, like a big party or anything like that. I don't
100%.
I don't crave that. I like one-on-one. I like one-on-one with you. I like one-on-one with Remy. I like one-on-one with my mom. It was my mom's birthday this week and mine.
So yes, so now that you brought it up and that we are on camera and on podcast, I want this on the record because I learned surprises on your birthday, not gonna happen. I failed 6 years in a row.
That's not true.
And I want you to tell me, what do you want to do on your birthday?
I hate that though. I think that sucks. Like whenever anyone's like, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want to do for your birthday? We've been together for a long time.
And I keep failing on that. So that's like, I don't know, last year we went to Bad Bunny, but the dinner wasn't exactly like amazing. And like the whole thing, I wanted to have the 2 years before I wanted to have a party bus to go check out a new restaurant. And I got so much backlash.
Tell me and everyone listening, what about me after knowing me? How long have we been together?
6 years.
What about me on this face, this body, this persona says party bus?
Well, it was a party bus, a commute. It wasn't that we were about to be in the party bus for the whole night. We were commuting to a 45-minute restaurant that was supposed to be really good.
1 year we went out of town. We went to Mexico.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay.
Nailed it. 1 year, party bus year, when two of the girlfriends of mine that you invited said, you're joking. Apparently they told you have to be kidding. They called me and they said, you know about this party bus? And I was like, that's a joke, right? And they thought it was a joke because they were like, Jonah's not going to like that. You ultimately, I told you, like, we could do like next to nothing. We ended up going and having like a beer in a beer garden and tacos with a couple of my close friends. Nailed it. Great. I like quality time. I don't like a big hoopla. Sure. I mean, if like budget was infinite and no option, an experience I would love, but I like intimacy. I really do. I like just, especially now being a mom, I like just low key acknowledgement, but it doesn't have to be anything crazy with a party.
Okay. What do you want to do for your birthday?
That's just so unfair. My birthday's in like literally 48 hours and you're asking me that's what's shitty. It's like, what do you want to do for your birthday? It's 2 days away. Like you've only had a whole year to figure it out.
Well, we kind of been moving and stuff, but yes, you're right.
Yeah, we've been moving and stuff. But see, I know you, and so I know that you would like sort of a surprise party or a gathering of friends.
But
So
I
that's
stopped doing what I think you will like.
No, but I'm talking about you. That's why I threw you a surprise party and got you a tattoo because I knew those were like two things you would like, So for me, I don't know. I don't know. And I also don't like picking my own birthday.
Well, the
You
thing is
didn't pick
that you
that.
don't fail. Yeah, I did pick my own birthday.
No, you didn't. You didn't tell me you wanted a surprise party and a tattoo.
No. But last year I did, and I think sometimes, you know what they say? They said assumption is the mother of all fuck ups.
They do. Who says that? Famous quote? Some famous quoter?
No,
Some famous
philosopher.
A philosopher is on record saying assumption
is the mother of all fuck ups.
Is the mother of all fuck ups. I can't wait to look that one up.
Maybe it was me. If you didn't find it, just quote me.
I would like to the art class you've been doing school. I like experiences, shared time experience. I'm not much of a foodie, so I don't care. But again, here I am like telling you after all these years together, I think I like, some of my favorite days are actually like in this backyard where we just sit and we play with Remy and we have a drink and we have some food and everyone's just like, we're very chill. I'm like the perfect level of stoned and, we're just kind of relaxing and hanging out. I do love massages. I think like you can never go wrong. Like I like just, 90 minutes, men. Okay, don't mess with that 60-minute shit, I need that 90-minute. It takes me at least 30 to unwind. So if it's only 60, then that other 30 is like, oh, it was too fast, it was too fast. It was too rushed. I didn't even get there.
Okay.
And so I like a massage. I do. I mean, and I don't care where it is, like it could be here. They don't have to be accredited. Don't mind, it could be you, if you set up like a massage table and you gave me a massage, and that would be amazing. I would love that.
Sounds good.
Something tells me it would be like over, the couple squeezies and then done.
Babe, I'll put the effort, if that's what makes you happy.
Birthdays to me, and it's just my opinion, so no hate as I'm about to say something offensive. It's like weddings to me, right? I totally understand why weddings are so important to some women and you want this party and you want this level of not just attention. I don't mean that negatively, but you want a celebration of you and your love and kind of the whole party. I mean, some of my best friends are planning their weddings and I totally get it. It's just for me, maybe I don't like it. Even the way you proposed to me, I felt this sense of like uncomfortability with other people.
Even that one I didn't nail.
Fuck. But I felt like I'm the type that I like really mean it, and maybe I don't show my true colors in that way. That I would have been fine with like a rollover.
Say that. And then I do that. It's like, oh, you put no effort into this.
How is that for you to say how I would
I much rather put a lot of effort and say, it didn't stopped in the effort.
Women talk a lot about proposals, and I don't know if men know this, but like we realize that proposals, and in all fairness too, it's not just about what I want, because it is a shared experience. It's about what you want as well. It's about how you want to do it, who you want involved in it. And I totally get that. I actually don't think usually a proposal's only about what the woman wants, because it's about our journey together, so that's fine. It was not a fail. It was just that for me, I was just trying to let you know, like, I feel a little uncomfortable with that attention, probably because I've been in a job and I've gotten like so much attention, you know what I mean, throughout the years of having a career on the radio, that there's certain moments for me that I'm so totally happy with these moments of just family time, I really am happy with it. Now, if we won the lottery, okay, we could have another conversation, you know. Like, if we won the lottery and had a lot of money, like, yeah, I might want, like, if like if there was no budget constraint.
You want the attention.
I would like, no, not the attention, but like, I think it would be so cool. And in my ideal world with like unlimited funds, if we're talking about that, I would love to, no, not the attention on me, but I would love to surprise like a select group of some of our closest friends and family and like take them on a trip somewhere so we could have like a weekend together. That is definitely something that I would do if we could afford to pay for it, because I would never I don't like this whole, asking people to spend a lot of money to do things for me. I like the whole, if I could treat people to that for my birthday, I would do that if I had the money to. But without the money, I'd rather just keep things simple anyway, experiential and simple. But I mean, enough about my birthday. I don't even like talking about it, because I don't get the birthday blues, but I'm 41 years old. Like, really? Like, we're doing like, it's my birthday, 41. Like, I have a healthy child. We have a fairly good relationship most of the time. We're working on our businesses and I'm happy. I think I also have this perspective of sometimes I'm just trying to live in this state, Fran, and of like being grateful for where we're at today. And I was thinking about that a lot. And I told you the other day, we hear so many people talk about, I've gotten all these revelations while running, by the way, but which I hate to admit that running is like really good for me mentally, and hard on my body. But we talk so much about, you should just meet someone where they're at. Like, just if your friend may be struggling and she's going through something, so we should just meet people where they're at and not have such high expectations out of people. Well, why is that not applicable to us, right? Like, yes, meeting your partner where they're at. If you're having a bad day, if you're going through something difficult with relationships or work or whatever it is, but we talk so much about meeting someone else where they're at. But what about meeting ourselves where we're at? And I'm at right now is really trying to navigate how to grow a couple of businesses, wanting to be a good mom, learning Spanish, drowning in the language and culture of another country, that I've moved to. Look at where we are from a year ago. It's been 1 year almost, our 1 year anniversary of uprooting our lives and moving to another country. And I just like to be a little reflective on it and say, wow, we have come a long way. Because sometimes if you don't stop and look back at where you were a year ago, I said this to you the other day, some days I feel really disappointed in myself that Fitish isn't where I want it to be. And, I'm working on another business as well. And, you watch all these other people grow businesses and grow their lives, and you see it on social media, and it can be so hard to not compare and then feel disappointed in yourself. But then I go, wow, 10 years ago, Jenna would be like shocked and thrilled to be where she is today. And I think we have to constantly remind ourselves of that. Like, not only, as a mother, but as a business owner, leaving a job that I was like really unfulfilled with and didn't like anymore because of the schedule, and being where I am now. And even though, yeah, there's other things I want to achieve, I feel we need to focus on feeling content with the things we do have and not constantly be thinking about all the things we don't have. So that's where I'm at right now. So going back to that, a 90-minute massage from you would be great.
Done.
All right, welcome back. Got the computer. We have a question. This is from Melissa, and I'm sure you're okay with me reading your name. Melissa writes, hey guys, this has been on my mind for a while, and I'm glad you mentioned the email in your latest podcast. A lot of what you're loving about Mexico, I actually have right here in Ponchatoula, Louisiana, about an hour from New Orleans. If I butchered Ponchatoula, I'm so sorry about that. Ponchatoula. I mean, that's what it looks like. I think I needed to share that because it's been surprising to me that you hadn't experienced this kind of lifestyle in the US. Of course, Dallas is a major city, so it makes sense that life there could feel very different from life in a small town. My hope is that people understand that if they're unhappy with where they are, it doesn't necessarily mean they need to leave the country. Sometimes simply moving to a smaller city can help them find a slower, more meaningful way of living. Of course, that doesn't change the political landscape we're dealing with, but it's a start. Thanks, Melissa. That's a great point, Melissa. No, you're absolutely right. I think that small town living is a great option if you want to remain in the United States, but you want to get away from this kind of like high cortisol levels that you deal with when you live in a big city. I think again, Fran and I, we want to emphasize like we weren't unhappy. I think a lot of people think we like fled the United States because we were so unhappy. I think that Fran and I you and I, as much as there's things we don't agree on, we agree on a lot of fundamental about like the way we like to live life on a day to day. And I think you and I were just like, what else is out there? There's so much more out there. And he's from here. So the family part of it wasn't that we wanted to just move abroad to move abroad. We always say that it's not one thing that leads people to make really big decisions. Usually it's not like this happened, I'm going to move. It's a lot of little things. And that's what it was for us. It took a lot of little negative things. Okay. It took a lot of little negative things happening in both of our lives. And we turned to each other like, oh my gosh, I think the universe is pushing us to move. And we did, in all fairness, we looked at a couple other cities. We considered, like, we love Austin. We considered maybe outside of Austin because you see a lot of people moving to areas outside of Austin. But cost of living in a lot of these outside of these bigger cities is still a really big factor. And of course, there's so many other elements about living in Mexico that you simply can't get remaining in the United States, right?
Yeah, but I think Melissa has a great point. As you were saying, there is many places in the United States where you can slow down, live a more meaningful life, and get that same feel of the US. Like you don't have to move countries. Like I think there's even places around Dallas or other states with better weather, because if you're gonna live in the country, you might have want a little bit of a better weather. But you can accomplish what we did in the United States easily. We moved here because, as Jera said, this is my hometown country, and we really like it here. And literally, like when Jenna said that the universe conspired for this to happen, we really mean it. Like everything from the second that we made the decision, everything went falling down easy. Like it was like dominoes. So
I'm a trier too. I'm all for taking calculated risk in my life with business, with work, with things, as long as I feel there's some stability that remains. I would not be happy living in the same city forever for the rest of my life. But that doesn't mean that that's the same for everyone. I think a lot of people are I have a lot of friends that were born and raised in Dallas or in the suburbs of Dallas, and they will probably live there their whole lives. And it's not because they're too scared to move or anything like that. It's that they're happy and they're fulfilled and they have family unit there and they like the schools and they like the way of life. So I think, your own life trajectory is what you make of it. And I was trying to pull up, I had a sticky note on my computer, but I had to remember reset my computer. Something Francisco and I did, and I highly recommend this in like any stage of life that you're in if you're questioning. We sat down one day and I just made a list of pros and cons. I made a list of like Dallas. I made a list of, a beach town in Mexico. That's what I first did when we were talking about moving. I also made a list of the things that we were most looking for, because there's a lot of things, right? I mean, things can be as small and minute as like, Uber Eats, right? Or like food accessibility, okay? Things can be small, maybe they're not such a small thing to you, right? But, school, the ability to work digitally, what are the flights like from where you want to live to maybe like for us, if I have to travel to Dallas or to the States, obviously, I need an airport that can get me direct flights affordably to the places that I frequent for work. And so, yeah, school, family, support, X, Y, and Z. I mean, I could go on and on. I made this list. This list was glaringly obvious when it came time for us to decide if we were going to remain in this small surf town in Mexico or move to Mexico City. And we looked at each other when I showed you that list and we were like, wow. Sometimes making a list of the things that you want in your life really just make it go, wow, this is so obvious and I wasn't even thinking this way. So I can't recommend list making enough and pro and conning things enough, whether it's a relationship you're in, a job that you're in, wanting to start a business, wanting to pick a place to move. It's really enlightening to just sit down and make that list, and that can really help you make your decision sometimes. That's really what I did.
100%.
Sitting in Todos one day and I was like, wait, Mexico City is a great option for everything we're looking for right now.
Yeah.
I miss the beach very much. I really miss being by the water, but I think that moving for me, something that I've learned a lot about that's really made me feel better. I think I needed to lower my cortisol levels, and I think living in Dallas and participating in a lot of things going on in Dallas was making me very anxious. And at my heart of hearts, I'm such a homebody, so I'm a city rat, but I like to be at home. I don't know if any of you feel the same way, that I don't think I'm at a stage of life that I can live really remotely because I love modern conveniences and I need good internet and I want to work quickly. But I love to be at home and not have to get out into the noise all the time. So we've managed to find a really nice little oasis here to accommodate that.
I think that we as human beings are nomadic. Like our nature
You think so?
is nomadic. Yes. Yes. We were meant to be nomads. And when you can fulfill that, I think even if you travel, like, and you don't have to go far, when you just go places that you've never been, your very native soul gets enriched, gets swollen. So I think it gives you just a new perspective on things. When we're stuck in the same place all day, every morning, every night, I think you start to become numb.
Yeah.
When you start moving, when you start exploring, you start enriching that nomadic thing that was ingrained in your soul.
I was missing a little bit of culture more than I thought. I think a lot of cities in the United States lack a culture, and so much of the culture that New Orleans is different. You live in Louisiana and everyone knows it, right? Like Louisiana has such culture, but frankly, it's been brought in by all of the people that have immigrated to Louisiana. You just have this rich history, but it's because of a lot of the people that have come from other places, right, and brought their culture. And so that's been super cool here in Mexico to really see. Of course, some of the culture has been dialed down or diluted or kind of changed from more native Mexican culture, but it's still so interesting
But I think
to
that's
see.
the same thing. Like, I don't think, I really think that there's culture in many cities, but it's that crave of seeing new things, seeing new cultures, exploring what other people are doing,
Yeah. And it's fun to have Remy growing up learning two languages. But you're
Correct.
absolutely right. Going back to that, you can always move to a smaller town and have a more peaceful way of living. And we still talk about that. So a lot of people ask us, are you going to come back to the United States? And I think when you make this hard transition, it's so empowering, because now looking back, I feel like as long as our, our relationship is intact and all of these other things, now we know we could do it again. And that's pretty empowering, because
Chill the fuck up.
I don't want to do it again right now. That was the hardest thing we've ever done. I don't know how many.
Twice in a year.
It also really took us out of pocket of even our own relationship, and it was a lot. It's been a lot on all of us, on my mom, on Fran, on me. Remy's handled it well. I think Remy and my mom have done the best. I think you and I have kind of had our struggles in different ways and frustrations, because this was really hard.
No, because this is like that TikTok that you love. It's like, oh, here's Jed and Francisco. We planned the move. Here's Candy and Remy. Oh, here's Jano
I'm Candy,
Francisco.
I'm Remy. And it's like, hi, I drove the cars 36 hours. Ham Candy.
Yeah.
Like she put her pillow in the car, you know, but as deserved. Sorry about that. We had a bit of an emergency because Francisco has a meeting that started an hour ago and he didn't remember. So he just ran off as the phone was overheating. But we are so excited to celebrate our 1 year here in Mexico. Actually, it's 2 weeks from now. And we'll catch up with you here again very soon. Thanks for tuning in this week. See you later. Bye.